Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another episode of the strategy series. In today's video, we're going to talk about the turn 2 victory strike combo you can do in set 13 with the new Goku's lineage cards that were spoiled. It's kind of like a reboot leader, but not really. It's basically a promo leader you're going to get for going to locals when set 13 comes out, as far as I'm aware. It's a really strong leader. We're going to talk about those cards in today's video, as well as this turn 2 victory strike combo. If you guys are new here, definitely subscribe, hit that bell to miss a video. If you guys want to help support the channel, go down in the description below. There are many ways to help out there, but particularly today, if you want to buy or pre-order any of the cards you see in today's video for this deck, or any Dragon Ball cards for that matter, use my link in the description to TCG Player. It does help the channel out greatly. That being said, let's get started. Alright, so first things first, let's talk about some of the new cards. We got a Son Goku Jr. leader. This is pretty cool just because it's a new character we haven't seen as a leader before. So Goku Jr., what does he do? When this card attacks, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, add up to one Goku's lineage card among them to your hand, then shuffle your deck. Activate main once per turn, place one card from your life in your drop area, then choose one Goku's lineage with energy cost of 2 or less in your hand and play it. So free play is a very broken thing in this game. Most decks can do it, and most of the top tier decks can do it. And even though there's 10 high tier decks right now, 10 or so high tier decks right now, a lot of them do play cards for free, so we don't really feel the effects of all the free play in the game. But there's really a lot of free play. This leader obviously has free play involved. It does crit a life though to do that, so I do kind of like that balance they added to it in that way. You're probably going to want to free play Scrambling Assault Son Goten. As funny as it is, that card came back off the ban list, did virtually nothing for several sets, but now this card just makes it so much better. So yes, again, you are critting a life, definitely a good balance point there, but playing Scrambling Assault here is going to be pretty good. Awaken your life 4 or less, untap 1, draw 1. Then we have the Awaken side, Goku Jr. Scion of the Lineage, critical bond 2 with 2 Goku's lineage cards in play. Auto, when this card attacks, draw 1. Then this card gets plus 5,000 power for the turn. Notice, not once per turn, which will be important later. Activate main once per turn for 3. If you have 4 or more energy and you choose one card in your hand and up to one Goku's lineage card with energy cost of 3 or less in your drop area and place them on top of your deck in any order, choose up to one Goku's lineage card with energy cost of 8 in your hand and play it. So the big thing that everyone saw when this card was first revealed the other day was that you can play Height of Mastery for 3 energy. Yes, you still have to be on turn 4, which is pretty in line with what you normally have to do to play Height of Mastery. But when you play Height of Mastery off this skill, you do not get its ability to tap down 3 cards. That ability can only be procced if you play it with swap. So yes, you do produce a dual attacking triple striker with deflect for 3 energy. That's still pretty solid. You can also play the Goku Jr. SCR off of this, but in that scenario, I still think you'd probably go Cell Xeno or Supreme Kai of Time. If you don't have either of those cards, then sure, Goku Jr. is a great option to go for. But yeah, this effect is cool. Still, again, 3 energy, dual attack triple striker, nice, but you don't get tap down effect, so you don't get the full value out of that. Son Goku Legendary Warrior is the Unison coming out for the archetype. We have a 1 energy yellow Unison. When this card's played, look at top 3, add a Goku's lineage card. Auto once per turn when one of your Goku's lineage battle cards activates a swap skill, add a marker to this card. And then -3, activate main. Choose up to one Goku's lineage card with energy cost of 5 or less in your hand and play it. So funnily enough, the fact that they made the auto once per turn, they didn't make that a +1 effect, right? Because we have +1s that are autos. Like, they only trigger the +1 when the auto condition is met. This is an auto that's separate from any plus or minus skill. So the reason this combo is doable is because of that fact, which is kind of funny. I wonder if that was intended. Like, I wonder if Bandai even realized that this turn 2 victory strike combo was even possible, but it is. We're getting into that right now. Alright, so getting into the combo now, here's what you need. You need 2 copies of Goku Legendary Warrior, the Unison. You do need 2 copies of it. Then you need Adopted Father Son Gohan, Scrambling Assault Son Goten, and Ultimate Form Son Goku. I think Goku at the Apex, which came out in the Goku's Lineage Structure deck from like set 3, I think he's also Universe 7. Correct me if I'm wrong, but regardless, you probably want to play Ultimate Form Son Goku. I think he's just the far better card. He does get you a draw when he's played if he KOs a battle card in rest mode. It's also a 5k combo as opposed to a 10k combo, so there's a little bit less clunk in your deck. The Goku 5-drop's not important. It just needs to be a Universe 7 and also a Goku's Lineage. So here's how the combo goes. You play the Unison for 1, look at the top 3. Nice thing there is you can add any of these cards that you're missing to your hand, so that kind of helps with the consistency a little bit. You do need 2 Unisons though, once again, that can make this quite inconsistent. There are many things that actually make this inconsistent, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. So you play the Unison, use Leader skill, crit a life, play Adopted Father Son Gohan from hand, use his ability to swap into Scrambling Assault Sun Goten. You can technically, again, swap into any other 2-drop swap, so that is a little bit more flexible there. And you can also play Successor of Hope to search out Adopted Father Gohan, or like the 2-drop Barrier Gohan as well. So you do have more consistency in that particular part of the chain. But anyways, when you activate swap, you give a marker to your Unison. Then you use the Unison mechanic to put another copy of the Unison underneath itself. That gives you the ability to use a -3, play Ultimate Form Son Goku from hand. So that's your entire turn 1. You spent 1 energy to basically establish a 2-drop, whether it be Scrambling Assault Son Goten or the 2-drop Barrier Gohan, as well as a 5-drop Ultimate Form Son Goku, which, if you went second, kind of cool that it gives you a little bit of removal on your turn 1. But that's the first part of the combo. Now, let's move on to turn 2. Alright, once you're on turn 2, you're able to evolve into Son Goku Hope of Universe 7. He says place 2 U7 cards from your hand to drop area, and then you can evolve him over a U7 Son Goku with energy cost of 5 or more. So keep in mind, you do need 2 U7s in hand to discard in order to evolve into this guy. So that's even more pieces of the combo that you need. But once you do that, on your turn 2, obviously you have 2 energy, so you spend 1 going into Hope of U7, you spend another 1 going to Son Goku Awakened Power. There's your turn 2 Victory Strike Wombo combo. It's not too convoluted, not too crazy of a combo, and if you're able to awaken on your turn 2, you do have another consistency booster with Universe 7 Representative. Basically, yellow extra card, pretty old, gains U7 in all areas, so it is discard fodder for your evolves, which is kind of nice. Also says look at the top 7, add a U7 card among to your hand, then shuffle your deck. So you can add any of these cards, as well as the Ultimate Form Son Goku that we read. But for this entire thing, you need 3 Universe 7 discards in order to go into Victory Strike. That's quite a lot, and that just kind of spells out some of the problems there with this combo. Yes, you can drop Victory Strike on turn 2. I believe this is the earliest we've been able to drop Victory Strike, not counting that that unbanned, unerrated tournament that happened at the TOP event. I think there was also some turn 2 Victory Strike deck there, but this is like with the current card pool. In set 13, you can technically Victory Strike on turn 2. It's got a lot of problems, lots of consistency issues. Yes, there are many ways to search some of your Goku's Lineage swap cards with Successor of Hope, but again, you need 2 copies of the Unison. Not very easy to do, not very easy to search. You need to, of course, see your 1 of Victory Strike by turn 2, which again, very, very hard to do. Yes, you have Universe 7 Representatives if you're on your Awakened turn, but it's still a 1 of and a top 7 search where most of your deck has probably not been filtered out. So that's very much something to keep in mind. But even that, even just the consistency issues of the combo are not the only reason why it's not so great. Let's take a look at a few more. So nowadays we have some very, very early removal in the game. 2 examples of this. Frieza Charismatic Villain is one. Yeah, it's a very specific one because your opponent has to be playing green. They have to have went first, and they have to have the Demigod Unison in play because they're going to use this in response to your Ultimate Form Son Goku. They can't really do this if they go second because then you'll evolve into your 8-drop as long as you don't play anything else before you do that. You go into your 8-drop and then yeah, it's safe from Charismatic Villains. So this does require your opponent to go first. Not the perfect answer, but Max Power Kamehameha, like if this was ever a combo that got a bit out of hand, Max Power Kamehameha will always answer your 5-drop Goku. Like that's just not something you can really play around, right? Unless you're able to do, you know, dropping the 5-drop on turn 2 at the same time you're going to be evolving and doing all that stuff. But that means you also have to make your Unison survive, which tapping out on turn 1 going to be kind of difficult to not let your 5k Unison take markers off, right? So just keeping that kind of stuff in mind. This is going to be a pretty easily answerable combo as far as I'm concerned, right? Max Power will always be one of those cards that is going to be very, very good in a lot of different formats, and it's always going to answer this combo. So paired with the consistency issues of the combo, as well as some of the more easy generic ways to answer it, probably not all that great. It is still kind of cool, however, that the combo exists. I mean, it's probably not healthy for the game, honestly, and if it was more consistent, if it was more uninteractable, I think we'd have a big problem on our hands. I'm actually fairly certain that Bandai would address it before the set actually releases if they, you know, saw it to be a problem, because they did do that kind of thing with like Chain Attack Trunks into Bobbity, right? Just this unintended interaction, and I'm fairly certain that this turn 2 Victory Strike thing is unintended by Bandai. Again, very, very inconsistent, so I don't think it's gonna be a problem. This might almost be like that Goku Black ramp deck that people were really, really scared of and then went on to do nothing. Yeah, they did ban Plan for Destruction, so that obviously hurt the deck, but they also had to errata the Goku Black leader, which we didn't know about at the time, to say you can't add energy Same thing as Zeno, basically. Same restriction as Zeno, where you can't ramp with both cards in the same turn, right? But anyways, dropping Honey Master on turn 4 with 3 energy, kind of cool. But again, the fact that you don't get your tap 3 when you do this, it's basically just a deflect triple strike dual attack. Not too bad. You can turn 4 Victory Strike this way as well by just playing the HOM for 3 and then using the 1 to evolve. But the other issue with this combo is that you're playing a deck that attacks heavily. Like, you're playing a deck that can free play Scrambling Assaults and Goten. So of course you want to attack with it, and maybe you can attack Unisons, but if they don't have a Unison established, you're going to be attacking their life to get cards. Same thing with your leader. You're going to be attacking their life to get cards, and Victory Strike really does the most work when you're playing a deck that doesn't have to attack your opponent. Think about Super Shenron, for instance. Decks like that, and now the Cell Surge deck with the new Evolution Booster support. Those are decks that can play Victory Strike without ever having to attack the opponent. Even Blue-Green Piccolo Surge back in the day, when they were playing ramp to 8, they even teched Victory Strike as their secret rare, just hard cast it and attack the opponent, because they never had to actually attack the opponent to gain advantages. In a deck where you have to attack the opponent, you're much more encouraged to go some sort of aggro route, and HOM can be a good top end for that, even if you're not getting the tap down effect. But Victory Strike in this deck, if I'm not playing the Wombo combo, I'm honestly probably going to play Cell Xeno or Spring Kai of Time. What is kind of interesting though is we talked about this card the other day, Kaioken Goku, a heavy toll. This card was just such a weird piece of support coming out of Evolution Booster, because yeah, none of the actual old lineage leaders had like once per turns when they're attacking autos, but Goku Jr. Sign of Lineage makes this card actually very, very interesting, because his attacking auto is not once per turn. He'll gain 5k twice, and he also has critical when you have 2 Goku's Lineage cards in play. So another reason why you wouldn't really want to play Victory Strike in your deck, because you are much more incentivized to attack the opponent. So I think this is going to be much more of like a rush type of strategy. And it almost seems like you barely have to play swap in the deck, right? Like, I really don't think you have to play much swap in the deck, because your leader can play Scrambling Assaults for free, right? When you're playing it for free, you're going to be rushing your opponent firstly, even though they're 10k attackers, but your opponent's leader is most likely going to start at either 5 or 10k, depending on what leader they're playing. So that 10k rush is not bad, especially considering the fact that it's getting you cards. And then you have Accessory Goku even further beyond. He's almost like a swap, but he doesn't really swap. He basically adds Goten back to your hand to play himself. He can then swap himself into a 5, and that 5 later on can swap you into an HOM. You can obviously play Goku Path to Greatness if you want to kind of circumvent all of that. That could be an option as well. But if you're gonna go for this kind of swarmy rush strategy, you probably want to play the combo of Goten and Goku even further beyond. And I think if you're not playing the Wombo combo Cheese Victory Strike, you're probably just going to be playing yellow good cards like Raider's Warcry, Bergamo Ferocious Roar, Poutine, just these good yellow cards that give you a lot of value, because your leader can play free threats that also find you cards. So in a sense, you can play a really consistent yellow good stuff deck, maybe even blue yellow good stuff if you want to tech like Zamasu Super Combo and Violent Rush Bojack, right? So I think there are a lot of options for building this deck. Yes, there's a turn 2 Victory Strike combo. I don't really foresee it being very good. Again, giving your opponent a bunch of life is kind of counterintuitive to Victory Striking them, because you're going to give them more resources to then try and defend the Victory Strike. Not really what you want to be doing in a Victory Strike deck. I don't think this is quite intended by Bandai, but even though it's a thing you can do, I don't think it's very great. But I do want in the comments below what you guys think about this combo. Yes, it's probably pretty degenerate, but again, not so great. But if you disagree or agree, let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you next time.